Hi, today I'm going to teach you how to calculate your relationship sign astrologically, the way proper astrologers do it, And I want you to listen not to just one video because it's not just one sign that describes your relationship. It's not that easy. Things are quite mixed always and quite complex, as you've noticed by far by real astrology I've been trying to teach you. It's never black and white. It's never, oh, your Aries and your partners will be always like Libras, But it's always, we look at relationship, first of all, from the ascendant sign. That's how we calculate relationship. From the seventh sign from the ascendant, or we call it the seventh house, describes your marriage partner. Most often how he'll be physically, how he'll be like persona-wise. But if you don't know your ascendant sign, you can find it by going to my website, AstroLada.com, following the link below. Or following the link below, and go to the ascendant sign calculator, enter the time of your birth correctly. Say if you're born 6:30 in the afternoon, enter it like 18:30, the European way. And once you have the ascendant sign, listen to the relationship description for the ascendant sign. Give the ascendant sign make it the first one you listen to, because it will be probably more than 40% true, You identify with more than 40% with it. And then find out your moon sign, because the moon has direct relevance to relationships as well, because the moon is the planet of emotions and feelings and vulnerability in our inner world and how we connect to others. Therefore, it's one of the most important planets for deciding relationships. And once you know the sign of your moon, then go and listen to the relationship description of your moon sign as well. It will probably give you 30% description of your partner will be like, or for some, even especially for females, because females identify with the moon much more than males, because the moon is a feminine planet and females are feminine creatures. A lot of the women can identify a lot with the description of the partnerships of the moon sign, actually, and again, the partnerships from the moon sign are again defined by counting 7 signs from the sign of the moon. So basically the opposite sign. It's always the opposite sign of the one that you have as the moon sign, as the ascendant sign, or sun sign. And also check the description of the partnership for your sun sign, especially males, because the sun is a masculine planet and males identify more with their rational, logical side, with their more, goal-oriented and active side, which is described by the moon. And a lot of women will also identify with it, because in those day and age, nowadays, women are much more in touch with their masculine side, with their active and goal-oriented, achieving side, rational side, And the sun sign is the one everyone knows. If you're born in April, you're probably Aries or Taurus. If you're born in September, you're probably Virgo or Libra. This is the one everyone knows. It will probably give you 25% the sign, the description of the partnerships that you're going to attract. But make sure you listen to the 3 of them to get the fuller picture. Some of you identify more with the ascendant sign partnership. Some of them will identify more with the sign opposite the moon. Some of you with the sign opposite the sun. But you will definitely feel the 3 sign partnerships as well. When you think about it, you will. But again, I keep saying, I think the ascendant is the most relevant one through watching through my practice in the long years. And what happens if your ascendant is in Leo, or your moon is in Leo, or your sun is in Leo for that matter? Then the sign opposite Leo, the sign that will signify your relationships, will be the sign opposite, which is Aquarius. And I happen to have my moon in Leo, and very often I attract partners who are Aquarius. They have their sun in Aquarius, or they have moon in Aquarius, or they have their ascendant in Aquarius, or even if they don't have any planets in Aquarius, astrologically, to activate this relationship sign of yours, they will act like Aquarius. Doesn't matter that they don't have any Aquarius in them. You just bring out from them these qualities that remind of Aquarius. And because Leos, we as having Leo in us, we need attention. We're very dramatic. We need constantly to be center of attention. And often we're very confident, very even if sometimes it's like putting on a show, but you need to have confidence to be able to be so, expressive, dramatic, creative, a one-man show, it's because we are such an entertaining and such confidence and ego-centered sign, because Leo, we as having Leo in us, we're very much centered in the ego, in the heart, and that's why we're so magnetic, and we attract so easily attention from others, and others like to be around us. We're the king, and we have our circle of people that adore us, and we like to be adored and to be put on pedestal. But we'll be attracting just the opposite from partners, because we have to detach ourselves from our egos and from our such strong identifications with ourselves, with our, with our personality, such strong, because we have such a strong identification with our ego, and we'll be attracting persons who are just the opposite of us, which Aquarius are the opposite. They're very much detached. They'll never try and be center of attention. They'll never treat anyone with special preferences. They'll treat everyone equally. They'll try to be, very fair in their judgment, very, they believe in brotherhood and equality, and that everyone is peer, that everyone is equal, whether a millionaire or a poor man, And very often we'll attract partners who treat us just like they treat their best friend, or just like they treat anyone else, like someone they meet on the market, and it will drive us mad, because we're used to special preferential attention. We like to be told we're the best. We like to be worshipped almost, or just like people being very emotional and expressive to us, and we would want to be like that to them. But these partners, they would, for instance, you have an argument with a friend, and your partner, you will be listening to you, and even though you're wrong, you would want your partner to be on your side and to say, well, you're my boyfriend or you're my girlfriend, whatever, I'm on your side. But they'll be very impartial, and they say, well, darling, I think she's right or he's right. And this will drive you mad, because we as having Leo much more subjective. We base our decisions on our hearts, not on our minds. We base them on some unexplainable attraction or, or dislike we have. Well, for them, everything, it can be their biggest enemy that they are observing, and they will be on the side of their biggest enemy if they think they're right. So this impartiality will have to develop through being in the vicinity of partners, being with such partners who are so objective and so equally minded, so impartial as Aquarius. And as I keep saying, it might be very hard, because we try and stick to our ego. We don't want to detach from our ego. And often they can bring in us, the partners that we attract can make us feel very insecure about ourselves, and can bring out our insecurities. However much we act confidently normally with others, our partners will bring out those insecurities by treating us equally, by making us feel that others are just as special and important as us, and when they bring up those insecurities, this way we can learn to detach ourselves from, because it hurts when you're insecure. So finally, you either keep on hurting and being disappointed and break up the relationship and find a similar partner like this one who brings up again the same issues, and sooner or later you get fed up from hurting, so you just detach yourself from such strong identification with your ego, so you start being, more, being more partial, more impartial as well as the others, not thinking that you should always be center of attention. And also it's interesting that the partners will be attracting as Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of socially active people. So they might have many friends, they might treat you just, they might prefer spending just as much time as their friends or in social gatherings as they prefer to spend with you. Again, we're feeling hurt as Leos because we have to be number one, but we learn through those partnerships. And they can be very socially well connected, like the movers and shakers, so to speak. I mean, like, they will not be center of attention or anything, but they'll be, for instance, known in the circles because they're socially active. Probably, you know, they organize charities, or, you know, on the higher level, or they'll be involved with certain organizations and certain groups and humanitarian activities. This is on the higher level Aquarius that we might attract, usually later in age, or you know, because when you're younger, people don't tend to be involved in such organizations anyway, or such humanitarian activities. But you'll be attracting a person that will be much more higher minded. He'll be thinking about humanity as a whole, what they can contribute to the world, rather than just to themselves, you know. And you know, and they have to teach you the same thing. You have to learn the same thing, because we as Leo are very creative, spontaneous, and talented people, very creative. But we need to use this creativity not for self-serving purposes, but for bigger purposes, you know. And they'll teach us, this kind of people we connect through, especially when they're more evolved, especially if you're more evolved Leos as well, so you can learn those lessons. To be more socially aware, as I say, more humanitarian, helping the bigger picture, having more, you know, having more, I don't know, more humanitarian projects and ventures, so to speak, you know, more social as well, you know, because they'll teach you how to be in a group with equal peers and consider yourself equal as well, you know, not always trying to be the one standing out from the others, you know, not always one being on top of the others, so being more special than the others, but no, merging with the group and being part of a group, being part of a social identity, you know, rather than self-ego identity. And they might be very strongly opinionated. You as Leos, we as Leos are all very strongly opinionated, but your partners will be also very intellectual, very mental people. They would always act from the mind rather than the heart, and it can feel to you a bit like aloof and distant, and I would often get upset with boyfriends of mine who are like so mental always. I'm not talking crazy, but so intellectual in their minds. They can go on listening to their own voice and philosophizing and bore me to death, you know, with their economic rants or chants or monologues about the political situation of the world. But you know, by being around such people, little by little, you become more socially aware, you know, and you start trying to be more partial like them, not always acting on a hunch from your, you know, from your willpower, on a hunch from your intuition, or from your likes and dislikes, but acting from the intellectual mind, you know, to be more coolly detached, and to be more independent. And also you can attract very often partners who are very independent. They need their own space. So it's a good advice to leave them, you know, to leave them be. They need their own space, their own group of friends, their own activities that you're not involved in, you know. They need to have this as I say, this independence and this space around them, you know, and to do whatever they do, whether it's social networking, whatever, you know, to do it not so involved with you as well. And again, I say they will not be giving any special preferential treatment to you or anything other, and they will teach you as well to learn these things, you know. And there is also a tendency sometimes to marry a bit later in age, people who have their ascendant, their moon or sun in Leo, because the opposite sign, the sign of the marriage, Aquarius, is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of delays. It can delay to after 36 the most important relationship in life, the more committed relationship, or it can bring happier marriage only after 36 years of age, you know. Especially I'm talking if your ascendant is in Leo. Then you will have your happier relationship after that age, in a more mature age, you know. And probably with a bit older partner than you, there will be an age difference, either 7 years younger or 7 years older than you, because again, Saturn, the planet that rules Aquarius, is the planet of age, you know, so someone older can come into your life. And as I say again, calmer, cooler, who will teach you to be calmer and cooler, and not so self-involved, but more putting your attention into others, how you can help others and society rather than be so preoccupied with yourself and your ego. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, Leo. And let me know what you think. Write to me, which sign did you identify your partnerships most with? You know, the one from the ascendant, the moon, or the sun? Thank you very much.